So back at my pond project this morning. Machine warming up. Gonna need a bath with some nasty stuff, but it's been 6 days since I've dug that out. And if you remember, this splattered when I dumped it out, and you can actually walk on it now. It's actually dried out. It has not rained all week long. And but they're calling for a fair amount of rain first of the next week. So I mean, this stuff is almost slightly dusty. That stuff that's so hard is like a real fine, very fine silt. All I know is water won't go through it. But that's filled up almost 2 feet in 6 days with no rain, so I'm happy about that. This is dried out pretty good, so that's going to be a pretty good fill material. Mixed in with enough mud, it should kind of stay together and grow some grass. But this morning I'm going to go over there and pull that fire pile apart and see if I can restack it and get that to finish burning. And then I'm going to put my grading bucket back on, and I fixed the quick coupler hose the other day and made sure it wasn't leaking. And I'm probably going to start somewhere about right here and start cutting all that out and start building the bank up and the pond dam all the way around. And hopefully that'll be burnt down by lunchtime. I can throw the overflow pipe in and continue digging the pond out all the way around. And my goal is to get it done this weekend so that it'll be ready for all that rain and hopefully fill back up. But it's definitely going to turn this little mud hole into a nice little pond. Alright, let's pull this whole fire pile apart and assess the situation. Gotta pull all the small stuff and sit it in one pile and the bigger stuff in another pile. Fabulous birch trees that won't break up. At least I got dust. If I do, hopefully I can burn. Trying to see which way the wind's blowing. It doesn't really look like it's blowing too much. I want it to go that way. Since it is actually kind of dry now, the leaves and everything in the woods, I don't need to be stomping any fires out in the woods today. Alright, let me rephrase that. I don't feel like stomping any fires out in the woods today. But I do feel like I can get a pretty good fire going back pretty easy. Got some good dry material here. Pile over this way a little bit farther, since the wind's blowing that way, to kind of keep it away from the woods a little bit farther. Alright, well, let me get this pile separated out, and I'll restack another one over here and get in a little bit. So I was taking the brush and piling it up, and there was a pile of coals sitting right there. Nothing was smoking or burning, but I grabbed them and I figured I'd just throw them over here just in case. They were still hot, and here we are about 2 minutes later. Got a nice little campfire going, so hadn't even had to get out of the machine to start the fire back. So that's a good thing. I'm gonna take and let that catch up a little bit and just kind of pull that pile over top of it, and it should start back. Take some of this material that was already dried out pretty good from the fire last weekend. Start piling it up on there. Those little birch trees I laid to the side because they had so much dirt on them. And they still got dirt on them. I need it, I can walk back home and get it. A little bit of this, and that's about all I want to put on there for now. Kind of let that burn down a little bit. I don't want it to get too big. Piling stuff on there. I just want them to burn real good. I wish it'd burn like that stuff from that other pond that I cleared around. That was crazy how well that stuff burned. I mean, it was like mud and it just burnt right away. Alright, I'm gonna let that catch up and let the smoke die down a little bit. I think that's gonna catch up pretty good. All that nice dry material in there. I'm gonna dig back through the pile and get some more stuff and go ahead and start laying some of that burnt stuff that I pulled out back on the fire. Shouldn't take too long to get rid of this today. Start moving some mud. Alright, so I got everything on the fire. It's burning pretty good now, not a lot of smoke. I'm gonna let that kind of burn down and do away with itself. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and fill in the old ditch right here that I cut out when I drained the pond. I'm just going to kind of skim out some of the mud that was in there, lay it on the back side, and rake the dirt that I piled up right there back into it. Pretty much what I'm doing is just cleaning out that little bit of sediment that's in the bottom, just so there's no chance it may leak through there. This is some pretty goopy dirt, so I don't think water's going to go through it, but it just makes me feel better if it's kind of packed back in there a little bit better. So I'm just going to rake it. I kind of piled it all up on that edge. Kind of pat it back in place with the bucket. I'm going to put the new overflow in there beside it back on original ground, so I don't have to worry about it being in this softer material, but this isn't going to go anywhere. all bush anyway, so it really bonds together good. That's the problem, it bonds together so good it never dries out. Well, dries out quickly, I should say. Absolutely nothing fancy or high tech, just put dirt in and I'm going to track it in. Pack it down better than anything else pretty much. It's not like you're gonna run a compactor over this. And I'll keep stacking the fire up a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put the grading bucket on and go up there and start cutting the dirt that I stacked up out and grading the edge, transferring it back here, building the pond dam up a little bit, work my way on around here. Now it's pretty much whatever material now that I'm out of the pond dam. I mean, it's all pond dam, but the critical area, everything else that I dig out is just going to get dumped back here and spread out with a bucket. And that's what it's going to be. Dig a hole back here and get a few more scoops of better dirt and finish building this up. I would like to have at least a good layer of somewhat decent material for the first 20 feet of the pond dam, and that'll seal it. I know of a lot of pond dams that are only about 6 to 8 feet wide up top and hold back acres and acres of water. It does not take a whole lot. It just needs to be done right. Let's see what kind of material we have right here. Scrape the layer of topsoil off. Well, I need to scrape a little bit more off. That was liquid. And more liquid. Get a few scoops of drier stuff. Not really. That stuff's so goopy the machine won't even hardly dig it. You see? It's pulling me down the hill. Well, we'll put that on the front edge. We know that'll seal. It's just amazing how the dirt changes so much. I mean, in some areas I would never attempt to build a pond dam out of material looking like this, but I've lived here and I know what it'll do. But water will not go through it. Packing it down. See how much by the ruts it's pressing it down. It all bonds together and it makes the material. It'll be fine. All right. Well, I'm going to attend to that for a little bit longer and go put the grading bucket on and start moving and grading. So I set the transit up on a pile of dirt there, and what I'm going to do now, already got the grading bucket put back on, new coupler works good. So what I'm going to do is come over here and determine the water level I'm going to set the pond at now. And I'm going to take all the dirt that I'm dig out. Still don't know what this thing is. I guess there's no better time now. Might be a body in here. Oh, well, I'm not saying it was an outhouse, but there's nothing in it. Huh. Anyways, the only way this water is coming out, I'm going to take all the dirt and fill this in around here because it's just so wet and swampy. And I'm going to have a little swale on the uphill side here of the pond after I fill this in for the water to come down here. And I'm going to find the lowest point and check that elevation, and that's what I'm going to set the level of the pond at. So I need to know that elevation so that I'm going to put the dam 2 feet higher than this, because I'm just putting a 12-inch pipe through there and I want 12 inches of cover. So I need 2 feet. So what I need to do is find the lowest point, which I think is right here, and find this grade because I don't want to back water up into the woods. So I figure if I check it about right here, I can set my pipe and then I'll have a good 12 inches of cover on top of that, and that should put the level of the pond pretty much where this water's standing right now. So what I'm going to do now is I found the water level over there, which is 8.4. I'm going to come over here on the pond dam and just kind of look and see where that lays. So I would need to add about 12 to 16 inches of dirt on top of the dirt that's already here to get the elevation I need. So let's go over here. If we can get past the fire without a hot ember going in my back would be great. Let's check this grade right here. This is where I just filled in the ditch I cut through. Let's see where 8.4 is. Right there. So let's just check grade right here. I'm gonna say it's around 7.4. I'm pretty good. So this has only got to come up a foot. Right now it's already a foot higher than the water level. I wanted a foot higher, and I should have enough dirt there to dig out there, because I'm just going to dig it out, put a foot or so on top, and smear the rest along the backside. Alright, well, let's go over here and get to digging. I'm just going to let that do what it's going to do. It's burning pretty good and not really smoking too much. Alright, so I've already dug a little bit with the grading bucket. I've made a couple passes just reaching out here and cutting the material out and building the pond bank back. Let's let this water drain out. This edge right here is not going to be quite as deep as everything else just because I don't have room to put dirt, but it'll still be about 4 to 5 feet deep, which is significantly deeper than it was before. Take this wet stuff and kind of throw it over here to the side. Kind of dig like little chambers almost, so that I'm not working in the water all the time, you know. I'd rather have 2 scoops of wet stuff at the end than try to dig in water the whole entire time, because I'm trying to grade the bank here, and when it's pouring out liquid, it doesn't stay on the slope too good. So it's best not to make any more mud than you have to. Let's raise the windshield up so we can see a little better. There's a glare, even though I just washed it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make one more cut, then I can go back down there and reach that, because I can't quite reach it from here. The stuff with all the topsoil in it, I'm using it right here because it'll bond together a little bit better, and hopefully, since that stuff's pretty sandy, keep that edge from eroding until some grass can get established on it. I'll just take that, like I said, it's got the best topsoil in it, and use it for the edge, and then the more sandy or crappy material, kind of use it a little farther out, because it's not going to, it's flat, it's not going to start eroding off into the pond. But most of the stuff is burnt up on the fire, not a whole lot left. I just kind of I just went over there and pushed it up few minutes ago with just the grading bucket. No need to change out for that. But this stuff, the grading bucket hardly digs it. But I mean, at that point right there to where water was, I'm already 3 feet lower, and that was a few inches deep anyways. And by the time I raise the water up a foot, it's going to have plenty of coverage then. So I'm really not too crazy about getting it incredibly deep right here. So that's why I went out there last weekend and dug that entire center out, because I knew it would fill up with water by this weekend. Passes here to dig out that little divider berm. And let it flood. And I can dump that wood material right here and kind of spread it out along the shoreline. So by the time I get all the way around here, this is going to some of this that I'm digging will probably actually be out of the water level, but just because as I dig this out, that keeps going down and down. And then I grade. So what I do is I come up here, I need to put a little bit more dirt right there, fill in that hole. I kind of check my grades over here so I can kind of eyeball it for now. Before I get to the pond dam, I'll start setting the laser up. I might be able to get it up high enough to put the magnetic receiver on. I don't know. That would definitely be handy. And then I start cutting my slope in, taking that material and piling it up here. Trying to keep a pretty uniform slope, just so it can be maintained a little bit easier. The water's probably going to come all the way up to about the edge of my bucket. I did it 2 feet lower just to kind of raise up all the dirt around the pond so that it dries out. It's just so damn wet you can't even walk down here. So with it being 2 feet higher than the pond, it'll raise it up out of the water table and should dry out a little better. Stuff right here, I'm actually going to slope it away from the pond because all the water's coming from that way. There's not really enough runoff that I need this, and that'll kind of help. If you got from that edge tapered back, that rainwater will run off and it'll keep it from eroding your bank out. A lot of times you don't want that because you actually need the water to flow into the pond, but this is pretty much just a hole in the ground, and it's going to hold water regardless. Take off down there real quick and lay that little edge back. I can throw it over here and get rid of that material before I cut out my little ranch here. And don't get me wrong, it's still pretty goopy and mud, but it's a lot drier than it was last weekend when I dug it out. least I got plenty of room to waste it back there. Once I dig this out, it's probably going to be a little bit of a ridge here, but it's still going to be 4 feet underwater, and it'll kind of give the fish a little habitat there, kind of a shelf. I'll probably come somewhere down here and dig another hole out, give them a good deep spot, but it's definitely going to be far deeper than it has ever been in its life. Definitely coming together now. You can kind of start to see the shape of it and how I'm going to do it all the way around. Kind of a little mirrored image of that right there. Just a lot more digging to do. So I've dug on that for about an hour now, kind of grading and pulling it back and slicking everything up, and definitely a huge noticeable difference from that to that right here. Get it all graded out. I got the stick here. I'm going to go over here and check the elevation and make sure I'm still on grade. I kind of did all that by eye, just blending it into the slope up here. So I'm going to walk down here and check it out. I'm going to start getting rid of this pile of mud right here that I piled up when I was digging that section, and wasting it back here in the woods. That way, as I'm digging and grading, once I get it back down to the little bit above the water level, that's the material I'll need to finish the pond dam, and not this much stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way. Bucket, it does not take long to do so. I'm still going to lay my topsoil up here on the edge because I want that there. I still got to drive out on there to grade it out. love my grading bucket. You can move a lot of material quick with this. Dug out when I drove down in there a while ago to clear out that section I couldn't reach. I don't think I got to worry about the pond leaking through this stuff. Nasty stuff. And it'll splatter you. I didn't take long to hog all that material out. Now I've got the majority of that out of the way. I can pull back down there and start cutting out more and grading the pond dam as I go. Need to probably check it here after a couple more passes with the laser and make sure I'm still on grade. I'll probably go to lunch here in a minute and grab that magnetic receiver and see if I can get it up high enough. I don't know, I think might be able to raise it up on that pile of dirt high enough, I don't know. I'll find out after lunch. So I had something weird happen with the grading bucket. It got to where it wouldn't tilt to one direction. And I don't know what the heck happened, but it started getting a little slow, and then all of a sudden it would tilt to the left, but it would not tilt to the right. And I've messed with it for about an hour and a half, and I'm aggravated with it, and I've got to get this pond done before we get all that rain, because I've already filled in the drain out, and it would just really make this a mess. So I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way with the digging bucket. It's not the ideal way, but I've done it my whole life with a digging bucket, and by golly, I'll do it again. As long as I can still drive out here, what I'm going to do is grade my top of dam with this, and then I'll get in here with the bucket and kind of slope that around. Fire's still burning pretty good. That little bit, that should burn down nicely here, and whatever's left, I'm going to go in a hole behind the pond dam. my pond isn't going to look as nice as that section right there, but I don't know, I may try to take the hoses off. It's at an angle right now. At least I can, if I can get it back straight, I can grade with that. Won't be no different than grading with this. Just won't have teeth. Never a dull moment. Cut back where I can reach it from sitting up here. I think I can just about do that. Finish raking this out and then cut that edge in. Back there and spread it out. Alright, so I'm walking over here to my ditch with the drain pipe I'm going to put in it. Piece of double wall for the level spot and the single wall for going down the hill. Said this pond is pretty much just groundwater and runoff pond, so it doesn't need a huge overflow. I'm just going to do a little horizontal pipe through there. Pretty much it's just a hole in the ground catching runoff water. Fire is almost done. I'm about ready to just do away with it and get this covered up. So I'm going to get this pipe put in and covered up for today. Alright, so I got the overflow pipe installed. It's just a horizontal pipe going through, double wall, and then the single wall right there to flex and go down the hill into the ditch. So I'm going to go ahead and get that covered up and probably go ahead and dig a hole and throw what's left of that in there. Well, have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you just didn't get anything done even though you worked all day? That would be today. I don't know, ever since lunchtime when this thing's screwed up, it's just, I don't know what the deal is. There's something on it it will not allow the cylinder here to move. It'll tilt that way, but this side will not go down. And I'm beyond frustrated with it. I've screwed with it for like pretty much all afternoon, and just trying different things. I don't know what these valves are, but I've taken these out. It's got these settings up here. I've taken those out, loosened everything. I had it at an angle, ended up just loosening the line and pushing down on it till it got back straight, and tightened the hose back up where I could use it, but it's aggravating. The machine's filthy. But on the bright side, I did get, well, I should have got all this done today, but that was a minor setback. Got this side graded out pretty much all the way around. You can tell where the bucket quit and I had to use the digging bucket, but got it all the way over there. Got the culvert pipe put in. In the morning I'll get rid of the fire and finish up all the way around here. I'll probably just end up using the digging bucket, but it is what it is. I got to get this knocked out tomorrow before all that rain comes in. You ready to go get breakfast, buddy? Hey Winston, I can see your breath. I know, I got the heat cut on. I got your heated seat cut on so your butt doesn't get cold. Alright, let's go get breakfast. Is it good, buddy? Oh, thanks for drilling. Just one? How dare you? So I have to give a shout out to the AMI service department. They called me back yesterday at like 6 or 6:30 Saturday night and kind of walked me through what they thought was the problem. And we've actually got it diagnosed down to this hydraulic quick connect has failed. I just replaced it, but it has failed, and it's not allowing fluid in this line to run the bucket. Because I come down here at like 7 o'clock last night in the dark, and I switched the lines around, and it tilted the way that it would not tilt. So that's telling me that it's only getting flow in one direction, which means that's the problem. So it's like 8 o'clock Sunday morning. The whole pond's frozen. It is like bone chilling cold, but I'm going to try to... I just replaced it because the other one was on there, was starting to jam up and wouldn't go back together. So I'm going to see what I can MacGyver around to make this work today. I might be able to unscrew that and just do away with the quick couplers and screw that line in or something. Worst case, I think I can unscrew that and screw it in right here. I'll just lose some oil, but I gotta get this job done today before it rains so much tomorrow. Boy, it's cold. Oh, so I couldn't get the old quick connect back on there, so I just completely bypassed the valve and everything. Luckily, this hose actually reached to that, and the threads were the same. So now I don't have any shut-off valve other than cutting the thumb off. So yeah, so the tilt buckets is always going to work. I can't use the tilt bucket and thumb, or the, get that straight, cut it off and use the thumb. But at least hopefully I'm about to fire the machine up and make sure I should be able to use just the tilt bucket now. Hopefully. Let me get all these tools picked up and get this machine started up. About to freeze. Alright, moment of truth. It was the quick connect. I'll be darned. That is crazy. Wonder if I can suck the thumb up. It kind of leaked down from changing all the hoses. Let me see what I can do. Alright, so I got the laser set up. I'm gonna go check my grade again. I hope this thing moves. I was so frustrated yesterday I didn't even shovel off in between the rollers, but I'm just super excited this bucket's fixed. I've never seen a quick connect fail internally before, and I dicked around with that for half a day on and off. But huge shout out to the guys there at AMI. They were able to tell me what I need to check at or look for, and boy, that saved me some headache, because I got to get this pond finished graded out today, and I'll have to go back in the pond to fix that over there, but at least I can grade all this from over there. I'm actually going to go bury that fire pile this morning with the grading bucket, because I'm not taking it off. I've got it where it works, and we're just going to use it. Alright, so fire pile is gone. I got rid of that, and bucket is fixed. Super excited for that to be fixed. You just don't realize how easy it is to grade with that until it doesn't work, and that's what it looks like when it doesn't work. This is what it looks like when it does work. So I'll have to come back in the pond when I'm done and slick that up, because I can't drive across that pipe because there's not enough cover, and it's mud, and I'm not going to drive around on that to tear all that up. So I'm going to run over here and set up the laser, and I think my magnetic receiver will fit on the thumb, and that way I can finish digging all this out, and I'll have to get back out in the mud and check grade. Alright, so I went to the truck and got my magnetic receiver for the machine. Now I know my grades, and all I've got to do is dig and throw dirt up here, smooth it out, and carry on. Dust and everything from the fire made everything difficult to see out the glasses. It's actually pretty comfy here in the sun. Whatever mud I have to build this up. This dam right here is already above water level, so it really doesn't matter the material I use. I'll dig out a few scoops, pull all that back, and then carry on a little farther. Right now the water level is about 4 feet low, and I'm about 2 feet of water, so all in all it's going to be between 5 and 6 feet deep. And I've dug a couple little random holes out here just to get some deeper spots if they do want to put some fish in here. The depth in here is more than adequate for the average pond fish. Couple deeper scoops here, just to the ground's so damn hard I can hardly dig it, but just to give a little extra, few little random holes here and there. And I'll just remember not to drive towards this end of the pond dam when I go back in there. Almost. It's amazing that stuff can get that hard, and it's just pure silt and sand. Anyway, that's going to be about 8 feet deep there when it's full, and if I don't throw a whole lot of dirt in it, like doing that, it'll be fine. I take the wet stuff, cast it back there towards the tree line, and call it good. A few ashes left. Look, from the fire, I'll spread them out right here. this out. That is grade right there. With the magnetic receiver, you can only do it, it's got to be in that one exact position when you check grade, because the angle of the boom changes when you cast it way out here. It's got to be a lot lower, so you've got to take that grade and pull it across level to your grade right here. And this doesn't have to be critical. I just want to get it where, you know, it's within 2 or 3 inches of being on grade. That end down there is a little bit higher, but I have a lot more dirt to get rid of, and the tree line, I couldn't waste it over there in it, so it kind of ended up a little bit taller. But like I said, it's not going to hurt anything. I just want that reveal edge to be kind of even going all the way around. That way, when you stand on the other side and look across the pond, the dam looks pretty even going across. Digging out, laying up here, and working my way back. much done all the way to the corner up here. I'm gonna have all this water diverted to up here, and I'm gonna take all this dirt and raise this up, because you see how swampy and wet it stays. And kind of raise that up, and this will all be about 2 feet higher than the pond level, and it should keep everything nice and dry. And I'm gonna have everything where it's funneled down. There's a kind of a runoff ditch through there and here, and it'll allow this water to come in into the pond through this 12-inch pipe right here. So I'm just putting a 12-inch pipe in, and it's got a 12-inch overflow. It's not an incredible amount of water that flows through here, and if it becomes too much, this is 2 feet higher. If it comes up like a foot, it'll just run around and go through the woods or back up. I mean, there's really no way. I'm not doing a spillway or anything. There's really no way that the pond could ever overfill, because it would just back up into the woods and or run around. So pretty much this is just a hole in the ground. And the pond, I got the grade set. It is right there at the bottom of that pipe. It might actually be in the pipe about an inch or two. I just want to kind of seed it down into the pond a little bit. So I'm going to finish digging some of this material out to put over top of the pipe. I don't need to cut back anymore, because the pond's not going to come back that far. Dump some of this goopy stuff on top of it and pack it down. Nasty stuff, ain't it? Ooh. But it builds a good pond dam, because water will not go through it. I'm going to take some of this sandier material now, top dress it with that. Get everything slicked up nice and pretty. Kind of be whatever, just because it's 2 feet above the water level. It's not doing anything other than just wasting the material to raise up the edge of the pond here. Nothing special. station around right here, and it'll allow this surface water to run over here to the pipe and then into it. This should fill up here pretty shortly and start running into the pond. I'm going to take off into the pond and grab what's left of that island right here and go over there and fix that pond bank, and then I won't have to get back in this thing anymore. That could have been bad. It's a big old blob of goopy mud. Anymore. And I can't leave a section looking like crap, so I'm gonna spread it out real quick. Won't take much, just needs a little finesse. out of here. There's the turtles I rescued. They got them a nice pond now. Put that tire over here by the pipe. Flatten out my ropes a little bit. See water in the pipe. Looks like it's about ready to come out. As I kept digging the pond out, the water went down because it's gone down about 8 or 10 inches. That's why you're seeing mud here now. Now I'll just work on finishing that up, working my way out. So now I have the pond all dug out, and I'm going to finish grading this edge. I took all that material, laid it up here, slicked it up, kind of left a little ditch along the back side so any of this water will run down there to the pipe. And I took the rest of the dirt and threw it up here. Now I'm going to work my way up there, spread it all the way to the bucket, kind of raise this up and spread this out and level it up some and make kind of a nice little flat area here. So here's the pond. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick walk around video because once I fill all this in, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get back, walk back over here. So yeah, it's wet. But here is the pond, all graded around. I kind of pulled this edge back a little softer just because it's the bank that everybody's gonna be walking down here too, and didn't want it to be such a straight down drop off. But pretty much went all the way around it, cleared everything off, burned it all, redug everything, come in here and laid it up to the bank, and then went around here and pulled it all up and used it for the dam and the back slope on that. I'll walk down here as far as I think I can. I got I put a 12-inch pipe going out and a 12-inch pipe coming in. I don't know how much farther I can walk without sinking here. This edge should be okay. I don't know what, they might have to end up having to spray something for that duckweed. It's starting to come back. I tried to get rid of as much as I could, but when I was pushing all that water out, but a little bit of it stayed here. So this is about the wettest end right here. I don't know if I can shuffle over here or not. Let's see. But pretty much I funneled everything down. You know, this is the wettest part right here, but all that's going to run down this bank right here, and it'll flow into the pipe, which is right here now, and it'll allow all that to drain into the pond. I set that at it's like 1 inch below that pipe, so it'll have a little bit of water in the end of it, and it's already starting to flow in here. I didn't put well, I didn't have anything to really put here, any rock or anything, but it shouldn't. Once it fills up, it'll be discharging into the pond, and it shouldn't really wash any of this nasty gumbo clay. But that's it. I'll take the drone and do a little flyover. Here's a pretty good little view from this side. This is the when I first walked down here and did the walk around video to start with. I was standing right here, and this is what it looks like now. So got a good, nice wide dam to be able to drive all the way around, keep everything mowed and cleaned up. It should turn into a nice little pond. We finished getting this cleaned up.